Hi, Susan. I wanted to take about 10 minutes of your time and show you how your course is coming along since you don't have access to it. So I'm going to go step by step, and as I do, I'm going to ask some questions that I sent you in an email, and hopefully they'll make more sense when you see the course layout. So the one thing that happens when the students open the page, it comes to announcements. What should happen, anything that you see that's highlighted, you need to fill something in there. So this is you're welcome. And then it says below there are 3 videos that you should watch prior to coming to class. And so this is best practice. If you have time to do it, great. And if not, maybe you have time to do one. But this is something to consider doing. So once you make a video like I'm making right now, you insert the link and then the students can watch the video instead of you taking time out of class to do it. So there should be ideally 3 videos, one that tells the students how Blackboard is laid out, sort of what I'm doing with you right now. Then going over the syllabus with them and your expectations. And the third one is ideally you would introduce yourself and you would talk a little bit about your experience in the field and a little bit about you personally. So for example, I usually share with students in my video that I have a son who's 28. He lives in Philadelphia. I tell them that I like to swim, I like to bike, things like that. And I have some slides that I show with it. Again, how much you tell them about yourself is up to you, but it does help make a connection with them, especially when you're online. So that's the first announcements they should see. And then what happens is in an online class, even if it's synchronous, it's really important to remind students of what is happening, what's coming up. So for every week of your class, there is a weekly announcement spot. So you would insert a brief written or audio video summary. So you could have an audio video of you, your face, which students tend to like, or you could just put a brief statement in here. Whatever it is that I do, I copy and paste it from the syllabus because that decreases the risk for making mistakes. However, if you think about when you have a face-to-face class, usually at the end of every lesson or every class, you say, now let's remember this is what's happening before next class. This is what we're doing next class. So this weekly announcement should either be an announcement of what's coming in the future, or it should be an announcement of accomplishments that were made this past week. And again, you have this for every week, and what you do is you just go in and you edit it and get rid of my information. That should actually be highlighted. And then put in your own information. Usually people restrict the dates so that they're open for the whole course or part of the course. I just put dates in there just so I could see it. Okay, so that is weekly announcements. The next thing I want to go over with you is the content area. So I had a couple of questions about the content and we can look at them. The first thing you're going to do is attach your spring 2021 syllabus here. Then for each week, each class, you call them day 1, day 2. I have lesson 1, lesson 2. Feel free to change it if you'd like, but it's sequential and students do like that. Before the students go into the lesson, again, this is best practice. If you could put as much as you can in, that's great. Eventually it will all be filled in. If you told me some of the stuff that you want in here, I could put it in. But oftentimes you know a lot more what should be here than what I know. So if you should tell the students what they're going to expect to learn during the lesson, then you should list everything they're going to do step by step. And then these are the assignments you're going to collect and the due dates. Again, due dates need to change every semester. Okay, so, and again, these are just random things that I've written in here. They don't have anything to do with coding. So basically what you're doing right here is you're telling them exactly what they're going to see when they open the actual lesson folder. So let's look in lesson 1. And when they open this, ideally, it goes in the exact order in which you'd like them to do it. So for example, prior to coming to class, they should read chapters 10 and 11. Then in my notes, I have that you use Elsevier material. So if there are slides that you want me to put in, I need those slides. If not, it would be great to have a link to Elsevier. And if I don't get the link when you roll this into your course, it says in every slide presentation, will there be a link to Elsevier to remind you? In my notes, I have that you will not be using videos. It's here, you can see it, but the videos in every week are hidden from the students. So for example, if you decided to use a video one week, you can make it available here. And if you're not sure how to do it, ask me or Carrie, and we can show you how to put a video link in here for students to watch. So while you can see this, they cannot see this. Then the assignments that are due. In your syllabus, you have comments, complete all activities, and I don't know what that means. So here's a note to you. Do those activities get put into Blackboard? Are they in their workbook? Ideally, it would be good to actually write what the assignments are. And so this tells them what's due. And then these are places they can turn in their work. I don't know what the activities are that you want them to do, and I don't know if you collect anything. If you don't collect anything, we can delete this, but I don't know the answer to that. It's there. We can take it out very easily. So if there are assignments or activities that they're doing that you're going to collect and grade, I need to know, we need to talk about how you're going to collect and grade them. Since I'm expecting that at least in the beginning, you're going to be online. And so, or if a student goes into quarantine and they don't come to class, how are they turning in their work? Honestly, when I first started using electronic platforms, because I'm much older, I really could not imagine ever not having paper. I thought it was ridiculous to even consider that. However, now that I use Blackboard, I really prefer not to have any paper at all. So that'll be up to you. Then in my notes, I have that every week you were going to have a discussion of some sort. If you have a discussion in class, this comes out. If you want them to discuss something prior to class, then it stays. And this is a reminder for them to go to the discussion board and discuss something. So for example, you could ask them one or two questions about what they read that week. And if they post their questions a couple days before your class, you can actually look at it and decide whether decide how you want to handle those questions during class. Again, this is up to you. It was not clear in my notes if you were having in-class discussions or you wanted them to discuss prior to class, and we'll look at discussion board. Again, I want you to look at this like a student and tell me what is the exact order this should be in, because I'm not really sure it's in the exact order that it should be. So I want to show you one more week because after the first week, you have quizzes every week. And so I have the same kind of question. So right now, in your syllabus, the quiz is listed first. And so it's listed first here, but I'm not sure that's right. I don't know if the readings should go first because they're going to do that prior to coming to class and then the quiz happens, or if you want this to go on the week before. So at the end of week 1 with their activities, it would say, make sure you read these chapters prior to coming to class next week. Again, all of this can be moved around. I just am not sure how you feel it's best laid out. The goal is to lay it out in the exact order in which the students will deal with it. So I'm going to keep quiz first because that's how the rest of them are set up. And again, it's the same exact thing. I've started to put in the right chapter numbers for you. The link to Elsevier, again, this is hidden. If there are assignments, and then the reminder to go to discussion board. So I wanted to show you discussion board. Again, if you're not using this, it's very easy to delete. I just click here and delete everything. So I have discussion board 1 and discussion board 1, group 1 and group 2. The reason I have 2 is based on your class size. I am, if you have more than 10 people in your class, you really should break them into 2 discussion groups. If you have 10, 11, maybe 12 at the most, then you could just use one group. But once you get more than like 7 or 8 people in a discussion group, it kind of gets weird. And people are not always really looking at what's posted. So that's up to you. I wanted to show you how the discussion board is set up so that you understand it. And again, this all can change. I just needed to put something in here so you could see the concept and make a decision. So here you see it says you're going to need to add the question, and the board's set up so that other people you can't post until you cannot see other people's posts until you post. And then if you use the discussion board, you need to put in a due date. So I've marked it available. Most people have their discussion boards during certain times. Sometimes it's the entire class, sometimes it's a couple weeks. That's up to you. Just if you don't put anything, they'll just open with the class. Here's where I marked this special item that participants must create a thread in order to view other people's. This prevents a student from opening the discussion board, reading everybody else's stuff, not reading the material, and then making up a question that looks like what everybody else is saying. So that prevents that from happening. I have that your discussions would be graded 5 points. They could be not graded. They could be graded for 1 point, or we can just delete them. That's up to you. And you will be notified when a participant posts one post, because that'll be a notice to you that it's done. And then you would have to put in the due date. I never change anything else. I just figure it's marked. It's the best way to go. So that's what the discussion boards look like. And so I wanted you to see that, because these are all things that I had in my notes and I wasn't sure where you wanted to go. So at this point, it would be extremely helpful to you to look at the lessons, look at the layout. Hopefully you'll have access to this by Monday of next week. And then perhaps we could meet Sunday night or Monday and talk about the things you'd like me to change or move around for you. So I hope you have a great holiday, and I look forward to getting some feedback from you on how you'd like things